Hello, this is Mike with TradeWinds RV Center, here to congratulate you on your Jayco Redhawk SE 22C motorhome. This little Class C is a beautiful unit. I'm going to walk you around it and show you how to use a few things, get the best out of your camping experience. So let's start by talking about arriving at the campsite. A couple things to take into consideration when you're parking. On your campsite, you're going to leave plenty of room for that awning to come out. It's about 3/4 the way out there. Then on your off campsite, besides leaving room for your slide, I want you to think about where your power and water connections are going to be. They are going to both be behind your tire. You got a big long 30-amp cord in there, and then your docking station is going to be inside here. So park accordingly so you can utilize the facilities at the campsite. Once we arrive and get a good parking spot, the first thing we're going to do is plug in our unit. Again, behind your tire in the storage area here is your 30-amp cord. Big long 30-amp cord stores up in there. There's actually a door here that you can actually run that cord down through, push that, and then you can close this and lock it and just have your cord running out the bottom. Now at the end of that 30-amp cord, should you need it, in case you need to plug into a 110 like I am now, and your convenience pack will be a 30 to 15 amp reducer. Got the unit plugged in. Next thing we do is hook up our water. Now, first and foremost, a water pressure regulator. You don't know what the water pressure is at different campsites, so always use these. This one's going to reduce the water pressure to 40 to 50 psi. It's going to protect the lines in your unit. Come here to city water connection, which is just above your tire on your driver's side. Hook up that water pressure regulator. Hook up that hose. Turn your hose on. Yep, we got a couple more things we're going to do. Now back here in this big storage area is a control panel. So we are at a campsite, so we're going to hook up city fixtures 2 and 6. 2 is straight up on the left, 6 is all the way to the right. Now we're set up to city fixtures, which is what we do at campsites. One more step. Let's find your hot water heater. Yours is located over on the campsite. And all we're doing at this point, folks, make sure our drain plug cap's back on there. Get that on there nice and snug and tight, and then we can go ahead and turn that hose on. Now if that hose has been on a few minutes, we'll go inside, open up our slide if we have to, but get inside your bathroom, come in here in the kitchen, open up your water lines, get a nice steady flow of water going through them, get all the air out of the lines, your sinks, your showers, shut them off, and you're all set to camp. Now let's say that you're going to take this dry camp and you're not going to actually hook up at a campsite. Well, in that case, we're going to have a 2-step process. Now we're still going to connect in the same spot. But what we're going to do, step number 1 is to fill the tank. City fill tank. So we take this and turn this to 1 to the right. That stays at 6. Now we're at 1 and 6. Now we turn that hose on. We're going to go inside the unit, and where you check the levels of your black and gray tanks, there's also a freshwater button. Keep an eye on that. Once that's full, go ahead, shut that water off, remove the hose, and then we're going to switch from city fill tank to normal. 3 and 5. Turn this to the right, turn it up for 5. Now we match the board for 3 and 5. Now, whenever we want to utilize that water, we'll turn on our water pump. Don't turn on your water pump when hooked to city water. That's already pressurized. All right, the other 2 settings on here are country fill, which is 1 and 4, and sanitize. So what that's going to do is that you can suck in soapy water by turning on your water pump, and that'll fill up your water and wash that out really good for you. And then down here is where you sanitize and winterize, set it at 2 and 4, bypass your hot water heater, and then you can suck in your antifreeze. All right, we're all set up with power and water. Go ahead and walk you around the rest of the unit, continuing here in the docking station and showing you that's where your low point drains are going to be. Black and gray holding tanks here. Again, our power. City water connection. Black tank flush. We'll talk about that when leaving the campsite and dumping our black tanks. We got storage here. Fueling here. Another storage here. Low point drain for your fresh water. Your generator. I'm going to go inside and start that up here for you shortly. We got folding mirrors. Need to come back down here and take, you got a hot and cold shower. Just what I mentioned on your slides, these seals, you want them to stay nice and pliable and flexible over the years. They've got a fluid that you can spray on those. Get a can of that, keep that around handy. We'll talk about the engine and everything here shortly. Coming out of campsite, remember we do have an awning here. Awnings are mainly for shade. People, too many people leave them out in heavy rainstorms and high winds and ruin them. Bring them in accordingly. There is a vent for your hood range inside. Access panel to the back of your fridge. Again, our hot water heater. Flue for your furnace. A couple things on that. One, make sure it's never blocked. Two, if you are running your furnace, that does get hot, 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 just like it says. They've also got bug guards that you can put over top of those. More storage up here. I believe this side here is your propane. A couple outdoor speakers. Quick connect propane here. Cable in 110 in case you want to put a TV outside. More storage here. You got a ladder. Utilize it. Go up there a couple times a year, 2-3 times a year. Check the seams of your roof and caulk as needed with recommended RV roofing caulk. Lastly, I did want to mention in here, if you're at the campsite, in there is where you'll turn on your cable at. Where was that at? Plug your cable in there, right there where the power is. Plug your cable in at the campsite's there. Well, it covers everything out here. Let's go take a look on the inside. All right, coming up inside the unit. And your steps here is your house batteries. That does lock. To my left, all kinds of little controls, starting with my awning control. On that awning, I'm gonna run it back in now because I don't have enough room to run it out. But when you run that all the way out, just run it out until the flap falls down. You can see the bar. If you continue to hold that extend out, it will flip up onto itself and start to run itself up backwards. So keep an eye on it when you run it out. Make sure you don't run it out further than you need to. This is the light for that awning light. Main power to the unit here. Here's your Go solar controller. The whole purpose of this is to keep your solar panels from overcharging your batteries. Down here's your power step. Speakers indoors are out. And then over here is your carbon monoxide and propane detector. A couple of 110s, lighting here, coming right up the wall to our control panel. So again, up top here is where you'll start your generator. Down here is where we'll extend and retract that slide. Here's where you check your levels of your battery. Fresh tank, that's the one I said to hold down when you're filling up your fresh water. As soon as that hits full on your fresh water, get outside and shut that hose off. Black and gray tanks, so you check those. Tank heaters, that's a little 12-volt pad that's on your tanks to keep them from freezing in inclement weather. Just turn that on there. Here's where you turn on your water pump to get that fresh water. And your hot water heater, turn it on for gas here, electric here. It does make a difference. Coming up into our kitchen area, we've got some plumbing to maintain up underneath here. Keep an eye on it. It's almost mostly all PEX nowadays, easy to maintain, but you are bouncing a house up and down the road a lot, so just maintain this a little more than you would your home. Self-explanatory microwave, convection oven, grill. There's a manual on that. Light and fan above your cooktop. Easy cooktop. You will use a stick lighter, turn this on high, click that, and that's how you light those. Make sure you put your glass top down before you guys take off traveling. Norcold fridge are pretty easy to control. Turn that on here. Here's your modes. Auto means, or the A means auto electric. If I were to unplug the electric, it would say auto gas. Auto means when you're plugged in, it'll run off electric. As soon as you unplug, it'll go to gas. The other modes are regular electric, regular gas, or again, auto. Over here, 1 through 5, 5 being the coldest on your fridge. Simple enough. Return for our heat there. We'll go into the bathroom here. We'll circle right through. Accent light, bath fan, hand crank to open. You can shut that fan off here as well. A little more plumbing to maintain. Access panel there. Keep an eye on that. Not much more to talk about in here other than that exhaust. I think we have a plug in the side here. There it is. Now the door, to make sure you have closed for traveling. You are prepped for a TV in here. You can get a backer and a TV mounted here. 110 and or excuse me, 110 and cable here. The backer's here. This is just where you would put it. You have a hand crank vent here. No exhaust, but just a vent. Emergency exit window. Pull up on them red handles and push the window out. Here's our slide. That once open, you bring that down. Lighting. Touch it once for blue light. Hold it in for a reader. Charging ports on the side here. You just place your, flip that up right there, and that's what it'll plug in at. Or maybe also you can set it right on top. Some of those do that as well. Touch, hold that in and shut that off. Bringing this slide in. We will want to flip that bed back up. Down here is going to be our breaker. There's our breakers. And to the right of that, our fuses. Door will pop right off there. You have a ton of 15s. I highly recommend you have some of those with you when you go camping. These are set with seat belts. Coming in here, we have our thermostat. Crank the air up. There's the air and a quick dump. Dump the cold air down. Notice when I shut the AC off, shuts off rather quickly. Now let's crank this up and go to heat. There's the returns down there, you hear that on. Now you'll notice when I shut the heat off, it's actually going to take a couple minutes for that fan to cycle through before it shuts off. You can wiggle this table up off the wall. It'll fold down, sit on the ledges here, put your cushions down flat. That'll give you another sleeping quarters. Another bed up here. Your TV, to get this to come off the wall, pull down on that, and then this will swivel out for you. On your TV, find a remote for that. See how this will lock back in here. Press it back up against the wall, and we're locked. When you arrive at the campsites, go into your digital antenna, run a digital antenna scan so that you can pick up all the local channels where you're at. Here's your smoke alarm up in the ceiling. Here is your antenna for your TV. Crank it all the way to the right when you get there. Bring it all the way back to the left when you're leaving. Again, this will flip down for a bed. And the lighting for that. So, this is our shade, I believe. Power, no, that is our lighting. Standard Chevy controls up here. Touchpad. Your fire extinguisher. Make sure that you and everyone that's camping with you knows the fire extinguisher is located by the entry doorway in case of emergency. That fan just shut off. We'll go ahead and turn this All right, before I do anything else, let me go ahead and start up your generator.
Okay, this is the generator portion of the motorhome. This is the Onan 4000 watt. This will run everything on the coach, including the air conditioner. To start it, you just hold this button down for the prime. When the light comes on, it's priming. Just a few seconds is normally all it takes. And then hit the start button. This is the oil right here. That's really all you have to pay attention to. If this motorhome sits for an extended period of time and it starts hard, ethanol gas will start to break down after 60 days and start to turn to varnish. If it does, take a Phillips screwdriver and loosen this screw right here, and water will come out of the, fuel will come out of the bottom of this. And then you hit the prime, and fuel will continue to spill out of this, and you'll get all the old gas out of the bowl of the carburetor. When you're done, tighten that and then start it. If it doesn't start right away, repeat the process. Typically that'll get the Onan generator running. Now we'll go inside and I'll show you how to start it from the inside as well. Okay. Pretty straightforward on the interior of the coach. This is the hour meter right here. It's ran 0.8 hours just for prep. So what we'll do is we'll hold the stop button down, and when the red light comes on, that shows that it's primed, and then hit the start button. To shut it off, hit the stop button. If the generator hasn't been run in, say, weeks, months, or whatever, you have to hit the stop button, and when that red light comes on, hold it down for another 5-10 seconds just to make sure it gets good and primed, and then start it. If it doesn't start right away, you repeat that process 2 or 3 times and it should start. If it does not, then you can go out and undo the screw on the bottom of the carburetor as I previously showed you. Okay?
All right, now we're going to leave the campsite. We're going to close the unit up. I like to go ahead and start by shutting off lighting. Then I know most of this lighting that I have back here is all one touch. Just make sure my bathroom light's out. Now I know if I turn on my main lights over here, I can see everything. And when I shut that one off, our accent light will be off. Alright, so we're just going to bring in our slide here. Just going to hit retract. Alright, again, making sure our mattress is flipped up. We're just going to hit retract on this. This is a Schwintech slide system, which means there's a motor on both sides. So bringing this in or out, hold that mechanism down so that you hear them come in. After it's all the way in, hold it an extra second or two, that way you know they synchronize. Perfect. And leave the unit. Alright, now if we're out dry camping, we're going to come over here and dump this low point drain. That's going to be all over freshwater tank. Head on home or to the nearest dump station, whatever we're in need of. If we're at a campsite, we're going to hook our power, our water, our cable, and head on up to the dump station. Now remember, it's a dump station. Your dump is almost right at the very rear of the unit, like 2 foot in. So park with your rear close to it. You got a 10-foot hose, comes with your convenience pack. Hook that up and pull that black handle. That's the one on the left. When it sounds like that's no longer draining, go inside, check the level of your black tank. If it shows empty or close to it, come back out here, leave that black handle open, hook up the hose to this tank flush, and again emphasizing with that black handle open, turn that on and let that run for a good 5 minutes. It's going to wash all that nastiness out of your black tank. When that's done, remove that hose, come back here, make sure all that washout water you just put in there has drained, then close your black and pull your gray. Now usually while my grays are draining, I'll come here. Oh, excuse me, they're right in here. While my grays are draining, I'll dump my low point drains. when my low point drains look empty, come back over your hot water heater. If we're done camping for a while and we're not gonna use any hot water, come over here, lift up on this pressure release valve. Now be careful, because some hot water is gonna come out of there. When that's done, push that back down, otherwise your door won't close. Then you can pull your drain plug down here for the residual water. When that gray is done, we're gonna close this gray up, unhook our hose, and conveniently and sanitarily store it right here in your bumper and head on home. We thank you guys so much for your purchase. Hope you enjoy this Redhawk for many years to come. Happy camping.